So a couple weeks ago, Bun had a massive code rewrite where they rewrote all their code from Zig into a programming language called Rust. And there were a lot of benefits as to why they mentioned this rewrite was necessary. I think it was over like 1,000,000 lines of code changed, and they did it in a couple days, basically just letting Claude Code run in a loop. But I don't want to talk about Bun. I want to talk about the idea that we can actually start writing these programs using languages that we're not really familiar with. As an example, this is one application I've been working on, and I used Electron and TypeScript to build it out. Why did I choose those languages? Mainly because I'm a web developer and I'm kind of used to those languages. But as these anthropic models become better, I'm realizing that understanding how to actually write in the syntax is not really a concern anymore. So with that idea of us being able to write programs in languages that we're not too familiar with so we can get the performance and the memory optimization gains, why not just do it? So one example I've been playing around with is I built my own drawing application. For the most part, I've been using online tools for doing my diagrams and my videos and my teachings, but I decided, you know what, let's just prompt AI along the way and build an application that's as performant as possible. And one of the prompts that I gave Claude Code is, hey, you have a goal of building out a drawing diagram. Keep it simple, but I want this to be as performant as possible. And if you notice here, I can basically copy all this stuff and I can have tons and tons of nodes with absolutely no lag. Okay, let's just go ahead and copy this a couple times. I mean, look how many nodes I have here. I can drag around. We have probably over 1,000 nodes at this point that are all interconnected. And as you zoom in, it's starting to get a little laggy, but for the most part, we can let the agent figure out how to build the most performant system. And technically, I could have prompted this and said, hey, I need you to build this in Rust and WASM so that it's extremely efficient. I don't know how any of the code works in this project, but one of the things you can start directing these agents to do is to write it using a performant language. So let me give you another example. I've been trying to build out a mobile app, and I was going to originally reach for Expo, which uses like React Native and does all this additional stuff. But at the end of the day, like, why do I need to use React or React Native? In the past, we used it because we were familiar with writing React code and we're familiar with web technologies, and it helped us move faster as web developers to kind of go out of our niche and build out other native type of applications, which is why Electron kind of existed and why Expo existed. But at this point, all we need to do is just prompt the agents to build out a native mobile app using Swift or Swift UI, and it basically does that for you. Okay, so here's another example I've been trying to build out where basically I can create some stories for my kid and I can kind of read them to them at night. And again, all this is in a language I'm completely unfamiliar with. I've never written a single line of Swift code. I don't even know how to use Xcode. But the point is that when you know that there is a more efficient programming language or a more efficient library or framework, you can prompt these agents to go and implement it for you using those tools and technologies. If you do care about performance and you care about memory optimization, which you probably should. And as I'm playing around with this application, it just feels really smooth and it feels really performant to kind of click around. Now, granted, this is a very simple application, but it has the built-in animations and it just feels better, right? It just feels nicer. And now we can achieve this without me having to spend months, if years, becoming an expert at native app development using Swift. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. Now that we have the ability to use Claude Code and Codex, why not just use them to build out more performant apps from the get-go instead of just sticking to the things that you are comfortable with? I know we do need to review the code still, but I think at this point we should be using Rust and Go in native application frameworks and libraries so that we can actually build better user experiences for our users. Have a good day and happy prompting.